Yeah, so thanks again for having me. It's great to see everybody. I was diagnosed at 42 years old, but unfortunately, I had been having symptoms for years. And colon cancer is a very slow growing cancer. So I can remember talking to my doctors about abdominal pain and bloating and fatigue and being dismissed over and over again. So by the time I was diagnosed, which was 42, I was actually a stage 3 colon cancer patient, just like Bozeman.
Yeah, what do you recommend for people? Because I thought that doctors started recommending colon screenings at 45. He was 43. You were 42. I mean, you need to get on top of it. Do you go when you're 35?
So, Amy, that's a great question. And I think a lot of people need to hear, if you have colon cancer in your family, let's say your father had it at 45, you'd be getting screened 10 years prior to that at like 35. But there's also a genetic component called Lynch syndrome, and that has a lot of metrics to it. But one strong one is, if you have Lynch syndrome, you do want to get in for colonoscopies annually, and that could be in your 20s, in your 30s. So, yes, the baseline age is 45 years old, but there are other metrics to say, you got to get in there, you got to get a screening.
There are probably so many people watching us right now that hear the word colonoscopy and that scares them for some reason. And people like to make jokes about it, but obviously it can be a lifesaver. That process seems so intimidating to people. But from what I understand, it's not all that bad. You even have talked about, it's schedule or nap for the day. I mean, that's what it is essentially.
On my Instagram today, I said, call and schedule your cleanse, your nap. That's what it is. I think we get all dramatic about the cleanse. It's not comfortable, but let me just frame it for you. Cancer is much worse. Chemo is much worse. It's really hard on your family. It's really hard on your body. And a colonoscopy is nothing compared to that. And it's not like a little fresh cleanse, 2 or 3 pounds. We can all detox it from our
Well, one thing, and I love that you're using your platform to talk about this, because your social media also talked about stigma that is associated with colorectal cancer and the fact that we have these stereotypes with you. It's not just a poor person's disease. It's not just an old man's disease, and you're working to get that message out there.
It's true. You know what I was saying? It's not a poor lifestyle, like not just in rich or poor, but when I say a poor lifestyle, talking about making less than good choices.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's in your exercise, what have you. It's not necessary, because colon cancer doesn't care where you fall in the socioeconomic spectrum, but it does tend to gravitate more to people that are older or obese or have a sedentary lifestyle. But the truth is, that's kind of an old way of thinking. I think when I really saw the symptoms, I didn't have access to, well, maybe it's colon cancer, because I always associated that with like an old man's disease or somebody who was just out of shape. And that's no longer true. As you can see from Bozeman, I mean, he was in his prime. He was unbelievably fit. I just run the New York City Marathon twice. I was normal. I was my healthy weight range, and had a healthy lifestyle. So I think we just don't know. Yeah, I think that's what I want to take away, the stigma that this is an old man's disease. It looks like this. It looks like Chadwick Boseman. It is non-discriminatory, and we all have to be advocates for our own well-being and health.
Yeah, I lost a colleague who was in his late 30s, when he got colon cancer, and unfortunately died rather quickly. I mean, it can happen if you wait that long. You don't have a lot of time to fight. But if you catch it early, it's one of those diseases that could also beat if it's caught early, as you are living.
I love what the Jam is doing, because you guys are talking about it. So many times people find it uncomfortable to talk with their physicians, and I just want to be able, want to encourage people to say, just talk about it. Your bathroom habits, or the way that you digest food and process. I understand maybe being awkward, but it's going to save your life. And I love that you guys are always so open to conversations and encouraging people to talk about this, because it can save a life.
Yeah, and we have to go, but we just do want to shout your Bearing It All podcast to let folks know that it is out there, where you talk about this. And then I also know you talk about some other life goals and achievements and milestones and things that you're experiencing as well. Barbara, as always, thank you for being an open book and for encouraging people to live their best life.
Thank you, everyone. Good seeing you.
Yeah.
Yes, you keep up with Barbara. You can find her on Instagram at Barbara Majeski and on her website, barbaramajeski.com.